It's a pleasure to have you again, both Dolores and Gabriela. As I said, since the pandemics, I think you every year presented something here, and it's lovely. And I think that almost every year I was the moderator, so
yes, and we are always
we are a kind of
updating
team.
our topics, changing
Yeah.
our topics according to the trends.
Excellent, and that's exactly the point. They never presented the same uh, presentation again, but every time a new one. This time, Gabriela will speak about smarter words and how to use AI to enhance clarity, creativity, and consistency. Clear language is one of the trends also in several fields, in legal language, for example. Gabriela is currently the administrator or chair, how do you call it, of the Spanish division?
It's the same, but
Administrator. The
yes.
administrator of the Spanish division at the ATA. For disclosure, I'm a member of the SPD of the Spanish division myself. So it's a pleasure to have you here again. She's also a sworn translator and a teacher of English language and English literature. And Gabriela, with no further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Elisa. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thanks to all conference organizers, Uri included, and also to my co-speakers. I have truly enjoyed your presentation, Dolores and Adele. And thanks to all of you for being here. It's always an honor and a great privilege to be part of this conference. So let's get started. I will share my, let me here. Can you see it or no? It's
no,
like,
no. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah. Now? Now, yes?
Yes.
Can you see
Yes.
it? Yeah. Okay. Well, as I told you before, I think it's our third time here with you, and we are always trying to update our knowledge, always on the same line, but trying to update our knowledge and try to share what we have been studying during the previous year. My talk today is titled Smarter Words Using AI to Enhance Clarity, Creativity, and Consistency. This is not a session about chasing trends, chasing the AI trends. It's about strengthening professional judgment in a world where tools are changing rapidly. Because here is the paradox of our time. We are producing more content than ever before, but yet clarity has never been more fragile. We don't need more words. We need better ones. We need clearer ones. And AI used intelligently can help us convey clearer messages. So our goals today are fourfold. First, I want you to understand the capabilities and the limitations of text translation and editing with AI, because AI can generate fluent text in seconds. It can suggest alternatives, detect patterns, harmonize terminology, and probably restructure sentences, and it can feel impressively competent. But fluency is not the same as accuracy. If we don't clearly see what AI does well and where it fails, we risk over-trusting it or underusing it. And both are mistakes. Second, we will learn how to design effective instructions to guide AI. AI does not think, it responds to our prompts, and the quality of its responses depends largely on the clarity of our prompts. Vague input produces generic output, what is also known as garbage in, garbage out, right? So today we will see how to shift this to gold in, gold out, okay? That is through precise, contextualized, well-structured instructions or prompts that produce far better results. Third, we will identify some strategic uses in the translation and editing processes. We will see where it can support terminology checks and improve stylistic consistency. And we will also see where it will slow down our translation or editing process or probably introduce risks. The goal is not automation for its own sake. The goal is smarter workflows. And finally, perhaps the most important of all, is to recognize the importance of human judgment, ethics, and confidentiality. AI does not understand client relationships. AI does not carry professional responsibilities, and AI does not sign NDAs. We are the ones who do all that with responsibility. So I am sure that all of us are thinking the question, will AI replace us translators and editors? Because AI can draft paragraphs in seconds, can summarize, can rephrase, can translate, and can restructure very long text in seconds. It can sound very fluent and sometimes impressively so, but fluency is not expertise. Speed is not judgment. AI produces possibilities, and we professionals are the ones who have to make the decisions. AI suggests, and we evaluate. AI recombines patterns, and we determine meaning, intent, impact, and consequence. The most effective linguists today are not rejecting AI outright. And they are not those that are delegating blindly all the tasks to AI. They are the ones who direct and the use of AI, and the shift is not from human to machine. It's from working alone to, or with very limited tools, to working in collaboration with very smart or intelligent tools. AI does not replace expertise. It amplifies it if it is guided well. So the real question for us today is not, will AI replace us? I think that a better question is, how can I use AI to strengthen what I already do well? And one of the main aspects of a text when we are translating, as Elisa was mentioning a few minutes ago too, is clarity, making meaning obvious. And clarity is not simplification, clarity is not dumbing down, it is removing friction so that meaning arrives intact to the reader. And this is where AI can be surprisingly useful. It can help simplify complex sentences. It can quickly, for instance, identify overloaded sentences, redundant phrases, long chains of subordinate clauses, repetitive structures, and it can suggest alternatives that preserve meaning while improving readability. But one important thing is that we decide whether simplification is appropriate, because there are some texts like legal text, medical or technical texts where precision may require complexity, and we cannot oversimplify the text. And obviously, AI does not know that. We are the ones who do. Second, AI can detect ambiguity. It can detect unclear pronoun references nowadays. It can detect vague terminology, sentences that allow multiple interpretations, but AI doesn't understand ambiguity. It can flag statistical uncertainty. That is, places where language may create friction. And that gives an opportunity for us to refine the text. And another very important ability that AI has to improve clarity is to improve structure and flow, because it can suggest transitions, it can reorganize paragraphs, it can identify logical gaps, and sometimes even rejecting the proposal that AI gives us helps us to or forces us to some reflection, so it's valid anyway. And here is the critical distinction. AI can assist in creating clarity, but only we can define what clarity means for a specific audience, because clarity depends on purpose, on context, on the reader level and expectations, and also depends on the culture. Those are human decisions, and we still have the control for that. What are the latest improvements of AI? AI has advanced more in the last few months than in the complete year, in complete 2025, because even if you are using AI, have been using AI for a long time, you always need to catch up. Please, I encourage you to catch up all the time about the latest features, because you can no longer decide to stay on the sidelines. AI is here with us to stay, and we have to learn how to use it. The vast majority of you may use what you call chats. Every time you ask AI for something, you use chats. But if you are using AI professionally, organization matters. And there are some practical strategies that I am going to teach you today. For example, the use of GPTs, some of you may already know. They are very useful if you are performing repetitive tasks like board reports, in my case, quality reviews, terminology checks, and these configurations may stay the same, and you just add a new task to be done in the same way as it had been done before. And another very new feature of ChatGPT is projects. Projects has to do when you have to do several tasks about the same theme and field. And believe me, it's really helpful because you can start a project for a specific client, for a specific field, and it will really help you to save time so as not to repeat prompts. And also collaboration. You know that nowadays when you enter ChatGPT, you are offered the possibility of collaborating with other members of your team. And this is totally new and very useful nowadays. So I will share some prompting formulas with you, because I don't know if you are using ChatGPT a lot, but it's very important not to say, make this better, for example, because we will get a smoother text, perhaps a shorter text, but it's always a very generic output. If we give good prompts, we will get better results. And here is a 5-part structure prompt for effective prompting. First of all, you have to specify the context and the role. You have to tell AI, why is this task being done? And who is it acting as? Example, you can tell AI, you are an editor revising a policy document for senior executives, and that changes the output dramatically. Another important thing is to define clear tasks. For instance, rewrite for clarity without changing meaning, or identify ambiguous sentences, or suggest 3 alternative headings. I use that a lot in marketing. Those clear tasks eliminate guesswork. It's also very important to be specific. You have to define constraints. For example, you can tell AI, maintain technical terminology, preserve formal tone, limit the text to 150 words, or do not oversimplify or simplify legal concepts. The boundaries protect the intent. And also be careful with stating the quality criteria, because you have to tell AI what good looks like. For example, ensure logical flow, keep persuasive tone, but avoid exaggeration, or prioritize precision over brevity. All these will sharpen the results. And last but not least, you have to state the format, because nowadays AI can produce bullet points, PDFs, PowerPoints, summaries, comparative versions, and you cannot use all of them at the same time. So you have to be very specific. All these 5-step formula helps you not to spend time prompting AI. So with just one very comprehensive formula, you can include all and get better results. And one little hack I have for you is at the top in your user profile, you have a part that talks about personalization. And inside personalization, there is a part that says use custom instructions. If you use that section, not to specify how you want AI to call you, that's what most people do, but you write instructions or prompts that you regularly use, you don't need to repeat them every time you are giving a prompt to AI. Believe me, this is really useful. I have pre-configured my GPT, and I no longer need to repeat some things. And this saves a lot of time. Many people use it to define tone, for example, and the good thing is that these custom instructions are sent before every prompt to ChatGPT. So you can embed your professional rules in these instructions. Well, another important part of our text is creativity. In my case, I work on marketing, and I am all the time trying to be creative. And we often treat creativity as something hard to achieve. But creativity is, let me call it structured exploration, because an AI excels at expanding the possibilities. It can generate multiple phrasing options. It can offer alternative metaphors. It can reframe arguments. It can suggest different tone approaches. And this is very powerful if we use it wisely, because creativity is not randomness. It's purposeful recombination. And AI recombines patterns. And here is where we professionals must reason carefully. And before using AI creatively, we have to ask, what is the objective? What is the audience? Is creativity appropriate in this culture, in this context? And in marketing copy, exploration may be very useful. In regulatory text, perhaps not so, but AI expands the field, and we choose where to step in and use that creativity. So
4 minutes left.
Okay, how many?
4 minutes left.
4 minutes. Creativity with judgment becomes a strategy. So another very important aspect of translations is consistency. Consistency builds trust. When terminology shifts, when tone drifts, when key concepts are translated differently along the text, reader may not consciously notice, but confidence drops. And AI is exceptionally strong at pattern detection, because it can identify inconsistent terminology, align repeated concepts, and maintain tone across large documents in a question of seconds, and it can compare sections for variations. So, and the good thing about AI is that it does not forget what you wrote 15 pages ago, or it does not get tired as we do, okay? And this is the essential distinction about AI. And also AI enforces consistency. We define correctness. If a term changes intentionally because context is different, AI will flag it, but we decide whether it is an error or a strategy to use the text in another way. So consistency, remember, builds credibility, and credibility builds trust. Finally, we have AI as a style and quality assistant. You know that AI does not define quality, but quality comes from style guides, from approved terminology, from client expectations. So if we upload all this information in the tool, we can be sure that all these will be taken into account when performing the quality control. And so it can be really helpful in that sense. Okay, so let's also talk about the risks and responsibilities, because one of the main risks is over-reliance, because sometimes we always use the AI output and this leads to generic language. The bias and hallucinations that AI may have, and if we don't check thoroughly, we may share these mistakes. Confidentiality and data protection are very important because we generally handle customers' documentation, and transparency. Transparency has to do with letting our clients know when we are using these kind of tools. It's very important that we are transparent in that sense, and also that we have some way of tracing the parts that we have shared with the tool. So we can tell the client, yes, I had to use this part of the text. You know that another important way is anonymizing text. You have different tools in Adobe and in Microsoft Windows where you can anonymize the text and be safe with the client's confidentiality. The key takeaways: AI enhances clarity, creativity, and consistency, but always we have to use it with care. The value lies in how we ask, review, and decide, in the way we prompt, because better prompts lead to better results. We have to use AI smartly, including the GPTs that I mentioned, the new projects, and also remember to use the customization feature. So smarter words don't come from smarter tools. Smarter words come from our smarter collaboration with these tools. Thank you very much.
Excellent. And there's one question from Saurabh. How do you deal with chat limits? He means
what kind of
when
limits?
you give the right prompt and start using the AI in a chat, and then the chat reaches its limit.
I don't have limits in my, I have a free version.
The free version, right?
No, but I also use the free version. Most of the features I mentioned were free. When I am working on a specific project, I sometimes buy it for a month or for some months, but I always use the free version and I don't have limits. Nowadays, it has fewer limits. I don't know if you are talking about a recent task that you carried, or because nowadays you can upload a lot of documents and it has very limited restrictions. But if you need, you just pay, I think in Argentina, it's $20 a month, and I think it's worth it. So you can also consider using, mostly because of its confidentiality. You save time. When I have to do some confidential task, I prefer to use the paid version for that month and work safely. Yes, Naomi.
Still, liability is yours. Remember, even with the paid version. Naomi?
Yeah, Gabriela, where do you anonymize text in Word, in Microsoft Word?
In Word?
In Word, yeah. I'm looking
yes.
now.
In Microsoft, I can share if you give the, because it's quite long, I have to give you the step-by-step, but there is a way of anonymizing text in Microsoft Word. And also, if you use Adobe, there is a feature that is called Redact, and that is very useful for anonymizing. But I don't have all the material open here, and I think we are running out of time, but please do write to me. Sorry, I forgot to share my personal information in the last, and you can write to gabriela@lantic.com, and I will share all the instructions to anonymize in Microsoft Word. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks to you.
Any more questions? Yeah. Dolores wanted to add
Yeah.
something, I think.
Yes.
Dolores?
Yes, thank you. If we have time, I only wanted to ask Gabriela if you work with ChatGPT or any other one, AI tool, or which one is your like
Yes,
preferred
I also
brand?
use Claude a lot, but I have to admit that ChatGPT in the last few months has improved a lot in its features. So I am always comparing Gemini and Claude, but I tend to end up with ChatGPT because I'm sure that all tools will improve accordingly. But so far, ChatGPT is the best, at least for my work at the moment.
I have one question. Is the projects, the new feature of projects in ChatGPT like an agent builder?
Some people use it, yeah, kind of it, and it's some people use it as folders, but no, you can upload all the information you have, for example, about a client, even a website and everything, and then you ask, you have, if, for example, if you do a translation, you can check the translation according to the style of the
standard.
client.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. That's what, and none of the other tools have it yet. So I strongly recommend to start using, because as I told you before, the idea is not to use tools, but to use them with the latest features because you are using it more professionally.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks to you.
Thank you, Dolores and Gabriela.
Thank you.
Thank you
Really.
so much.
Yeah, thanks.
It was a pleasure to see you all.